Anyway, talk to our audience a little bit about automated trucks, autonomous, where we're headed, electric trucks, what that looks like in the industry.
Will there ever be a driverless truck?
Are drivers at risk for losing jobs because these trucks can drive themselves?
Yeah. The answer is no. So I've been on several rides in autonomous trucks, and the technology is great, right? And it works really great when you're on a highway cruising at, 65 miles an hour with not a lot of distraction or issues to deal with, right?
Right.
I think the equipment, the technology has probably solved 95% of what you're going to encounter, again, on a highway.
Yeah.
Right? Which, when you talk to drivers, is the easiest part of the job. I'm not saying really any part of the job is the easiest, but that's when there's low stress, right? And so I think the technology will allow for the equipment to take over and probably perform most of the mundane tasks that you have, similar to a pilot when a plane is just kind of cruising at altitude. And so I think there's a lot of room for that technology to improve the driving job and to make it safer for our drivers.
Yeah.
Because it can view, several hundred, sometimes 1,000 yards ahead and can make adjustments, if they see things in the road. Challenge is that to try to get to the next 5% is very difficult, very expensive, maybe impossible, right? And so that's the issue with the technology in terms of taking a driver out of the truck. Now, what the technology doesn't address is backing, which last I checked is pretty important
probably
in
the most
transportation.
important part.
Our drivers have have backed probably more miles than I've gone forward in my car, right? And so that's where the skill comes in, right? And the technology is not there to maneuver through, congested cities, which is where all the stress is for drivers. And again, where all the skill is.
Right.
So there's a long ways to go for that technology to develop. But do I feel like we can utilize that technology in our trucks in the future? Yeah, but not to take the driver out, but to improve the jobs for our drivers. And then on electric trucks, we're investing in them, but they're not applicable to a lot of what we do. The range is very short, right? Where you may have a truck that may do 100 to 150 miles a day. And we know that our length of haul is much longer than that, and our drivers drive much longer than that.
Right.
The weight, it adds a lot of weight to the truck, and so
burns the batteries quicker.
Well, it creates an issue with how much freight you can haul because of the weight, and the cost is still really high. And so it wouldn't pencil out from a return standpoint. But that technology will get better over time. And so we'll be on the forefront of that. I mean, given the scale that we have, we're partnering with different OEMs, and we're investing in a few electric trucks in Southern Cal this coming year. Again, they wouldn't probably work economically today, but we're going to learn from the technology. And you have certain states that offer grants, like California, but others don't. But that technology will develop, and I think ultimately will lead to a cleaner truck, one that could be eventually zero emissions, but it's going to take time to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I just had a driver in my office yesterday talking about just this thing, and my my statement to him was, "Do you fly?" And he's like, "Yeah." "So you fly commercial?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "And how many times you got on a plane where there's no pilot? You go in a commercial plane, not only is there one, but there's two. So how many have you flown in without a pilot?" And he's like, "None, but they have autopilot. They don't need the pilot. So why do they bring the pilot?" And he's like, I get it. And I said, yeah, so just think of that in trucking. You're still going to need that driver to help make those maneuvers that the technology can't do. So he felt a little bit more comfortable, but he was pretty stressed out.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, you see all the news, you see, the headlines about pulling drivers out. But again, I've seen the technology. We have a partnership with one of the technology providers today that's working on it, and we're helping kind of steer how this can apply to our space and how you'd roll it out. But again, we're going to need drivers. They're going to be critical. But again, I get the technology can help improve the job for our drivers.
Right. Thank you for watching that clip. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more clips like that, please click here.
Or if you'd like to check out a full episode, click here.
And don't forget to subscribe to us on
YouTube.